that after 3/11, the unemployment rate in these areas doubled. So there were 150,000 people unemployed. That jumped to more than 300,000 people unemployed. And this number is only those who were registered as unemployed people. There were lots of self-employed people, and we are not counting those kinds of people in this picture at all. But the point I want to make here is Australia we are very lucky here that you have got unemployment benefits. But in Japan, the unemployment benefits last only for 6 months, 180 days maximum. So after that, you have to find your way. You have to make your own living. The government cannot support you beyond 180 days. In this case, the government after 180 days made a legislative change, and they said we will support for another 180 days. But that's not enough. So lots of people are suffering as a result because they don't have job, they don't have an industry, and they don't know what to do, where to go and find a job for themselves. Displacement, huge number of displacement, and misery at vast scale. But the other important thing, or perhaps crucial point which we need to think, and I know you know, radiation is a huge issue, and we don't know actually the level of radiation. And I'll come to that point. People in Japan do not trust statistics and information coming out of government, coming out of TEPCO, that is the Tokyo Electric Power Company that runs the Fukushima nuclear power plants and other power plants in northeast part of Japan. Since they don't believe, they don't trust, they carry their own measurement equipment, and they do for themselves because they don't trust what the government is doing. And here comes the role of social media in Japan, about which I talk a little bit later. Let me go to the next slide. Now, as I said, I was in Japan actually for quite an extensive period of time. I spent about 3 weeks in September, then about 8-9 weeks between November and December 2011. And I visited several parts of the areas which were affected or which are affected by the tsunami and the nuclear meltdown. I went to Fukushima in a small town called Yabuki town, which is about 60 kilometers west of nuclear plants. Well, up to 30 kilometers of nuclear plant you cannot enter. So 60 is a little bit far away from those plants, but still I get a very good picture, I get a very good view after talking with lots of town officials, with some families, with some volunteers, and all those kinds of people. Then I went in December to Iwate, and there were 4 towns I went to, and I had meetings with a number of and discussion with families, non-governmental organization members who were actively involved in helping and assisting the communities there. I also talked with a number of prefectural and town office people, and then I had meetings in Tokyo with METI, which is the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, which actually makes policy as well as acts as a regulatory body for energy-related issues in Japan. And of course, I had lots of discussions with the scholars and researchers. So what I'm trying to say here is that what I'm talking here is based on my field research in 13, 14 weeks which I spent in Japan between September and December last year. Now, this is, you can see here, this prefecture is called Iwate, this prefecture, then Miyagi, and here is Fukushima. And I went to, I visited from this part up to this part of Iwate. And Iwate is quite a large prefecture in Japan. As a matter of fact, the second largest prefecture in Japan in terms of its size is quite huge. So if you are in the capital city of Iwate, which is away from about 150 kilometers away from the coastal area. When I was driving, or I was being driven from the headquarters of Iwate towards the coastal towns, it took me about 2.5 hours driving. So if you drive through, you have absolutely no traces of any damage when you are traveling from the western part of Iwate towards the eastern part. As soon as you hit the coastal area, you all of a sudden you feel, oh no, what has happened? So you can see that kind of destruction even after 8 months of this tsunami. I did not go to, oh sorry, what did I do? Next one. I did not go to Miyagi, but I have had a chat or a number of meetings with some of the officials who were in Tokyo when I was there, and a lot have been written about Miyagi, but very little about Iwate, simply because the governor of Miyagi is a very, very active politician. So he was in the media almost on a daily basis, so people were attracted more towards Miyagi. And some parts of Miyagi actually were very, very badly affected, much more than parts of Iwate. So Miyagi became a focal point. Now in Fukushima, you can see I brought here, about these Fukushima power plants, and here the power plants are located on the coastal area. As a matter of fact, as you know, most of the nuclear power plants in Japan are located around the coastal areas, either on the Pacific Ocean side or on the Japan sea side. But as I said, Fukushima has had a concentration of nuclear power plants. Another concentration of nuclear power plants is in Fukui. I mean, both these prefectures start with F. I don't know. The point is, Fukushima has got so many, and then Fukui down here has got Kansai area, which is Osaka, Kyoto, and Kobe area. Most of electricity from nuclear power plants comes from the Fukui region. So these are the places I visited. Now I have got some pictures which I took myself while I was there. Now look at this. All these areas were housing, communities living around all these. You can see some of these high-rise buildings, not high-rise, but 3-4 story buildings still standing there, but they are inhabitable. You can't live there. So you can see they're badly damaged. And here you can see some work is going on. So this is one town. There are several. You see this this wall, about 9-10 meters high, and you can see this area. All the community people live here, just next to the wall. So when the warning came, they heard the warning that the tsunami is coming from this earthquake, but they thought they were safe because the initial information that they got was they were safe and they don't need to worry. But I think within minutes, maybe a few minutes, the tsunami waves crossed the wall, and then the water came through, and then most of these people perished, as a matter of fact. More slides here. You can see the debris. This is kind of steam from cars and vehicles. Now this is interesting. You can see this clock stopped at around 11:03. So the tsunami, actually the earthquake, hit around 2:58. So this clock stopped when the earthquake hit the ocean. This clock, and you can see the damage created by this. This is not actually earthquake, this is tsunami damage. The other, now this is town hall, as a matter of fact. This is town hall of a place called Osusumi.